So we probably all know that writing sample library demos can be very effective when it comes to publicity, plus being heard amongst all kinds of professionals. And you may have experienced the following situation before. You have contacted a sample library developer to ask to write a demo for their upcoming sample library, but then your email remained unanswered, or you have been rejected. Hi, my name is Alex Pfeffer, and in this video I want to come up with some very essential points on how to be successful at writing sample library demos. So most composers go that simple route. They contact a sample library developer and simply ask if they could write a demo for their upcoming sample library. But you have to realize that nowadays, almost always, anyone wants something. Plus, you also have to take into consideration that you're probably not the only one asking these developers. So my first advice would be turn it around and offer something first. For example, use a previously released sample library of that developer you have already purchased, and then send that snippet or that track off by asking if they can imagine something like this for their upcoming sample library. So by doing this, you show the sample library developer that you actually care about the company itself and that you are willing to invest work not only when you are asked for. This alone can drastically raise the chance to be considered. So here's another effective way to get the attention of sample library developers, which is actually similar to my first advice. Create YouTube video walkthroughs of libraries you have purchased before from that sample library developer. Seriously, no one cares if there have been like a few hundred videos out there explaining the library even better than you do. Just go for it. Create some great content. But most important, don't expect something after the first few videos. See this as a long-term goal to invest into the future and to get the attention of sample library developers in general. At this point, I should also mention that it's very important to get your video title, tags, thumbnails, and end cards right. So in case you got the chance to write a demo, make it special. I've experienced the following probably a few hundred times before. Composer X sharing a new demo to the world. And it's basically just looped 4 or 8 bar parts put together and stacked on top of each other. No writing, no storytelling, not caring about the product itself. But imagine if you would get an audition with Hans Zimmer or any other of the big movie composers out there. Would you just put a few lines, phrases and loops together? Or would you sit down and write your most awesome track ever? At some point, when writing sample library demos, your track will definitely be heard by some of the top professionals out there. So make your track really special, make it outstanding. For example, hire a vocalist. Another example would be try to come up with some kind of a middle part no one would have ever expected. Write a classical track and right after the breakdown come up with some metal or dubstep part. Make your music special. You are a creative person. Be creative. You know, at some point you don't need John Williams-like skills to present an orchestral sample library. Simply make it special and hear people mentioning that sample library in relation with your awesome demo. Another great way to create attention is the following point. Once you have written a track with sample libraries from a specific sample library developer, don't be afraid and tag them on social media. So my secret tip, which is actually not a secret tip, would be to do so on Twitter. But why Twitter? So let me quickly explain. While Facebook is probably the big convention center everyone is running around in a hurry, Twitter is that awesome small-sized lounge or bar where people like to hang out and really talk business. So my tip would be to write a track or upload a video walkthrough and tag the developer. However, please keep in mind that you shouldn't get on that annoying level. For example, like tagging them several times a week, or even worse, by getting publicly angry at them for not reacting. Simply enjoy doing it, and at some point you will create attention. Okay, so let's talk writing skills for a second here. Even though your writing skills are not the most important thing when writing a demo, you should absolutely be aware of what you can do, but also what not. So if you have absolutely no clue about writing flamenco-styled music or big band jazz, you may want to consider to not write anything at all. Okay, so in case you got your first job to write a demo, please be aware that the spotlight shouldn't be pointing at you all the time, but towards towards the library you are writing for. I mean, the spotlight shines on you anyway because you are the guy writing the demo, right? But you probably know what I'm trying to say here. It wouldn't make sense to show off your perfect mixing or sound design skills by totally changing the sound of the library itself. You may also want to consider to put the library you're writing for a little bit up front in the mix. The following should be obvious, but you most likely don't want to use any, for example, string libraries when you are about to write a demo for a string library developer. Simply try to feature the product a little bit more than yourself. Okay, so probably the most helpful and successful thing to have is a well-running Twitch or YouTube account. First reason would be people love video. And on the other side, once you get a decent followership of a few thousand people, sample library developers or even music software companies will approach you instead of the other way around. And at this point, you definitely don't need to worry about anything at all when it comes to this topic. Okay, so I hope you really enjoyed watching this video. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to use the comment section below. Also, thank you so much for your precious time to watch this video. And I really would love you to drop by on the next one. So again, thanks for watching and see you soon.